Remit Public, which is about the apps that we'll be developing. So whenever you have some extra time, maybe you can just take a look.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's get started. So firstly, whatever we have done till now, and then we will learn about model view controller. Okay. So how exactly? So with arrays, definitely we will be updating the table view, but we will not be using those arrays directly. We'll be using arrays of objects, array of model objects. So we need to create models first, and then the controller will have its own responsibility, right? View will have its own responsibility. So we'll cover that. Okay. Okay. So create a new project.
Sir, here, model view controlling, we are using the architecture MVVM and MVC, right?
MVC. Tell me.
Yeah, how can you finalize which this model is there in that?
I didn't get you.
Like we are using we don't know which application they're using the models, right?
Correct.
So how can you find out which is the MVC and which one is the MVVM and why?
Okay, so you mean by looking at the source code, how
Yes.
will I know whether it is MVC or MVVM?
Yeah.
In MVC, you will have model, view, and controllers, but in MVVM, you will have one extra file called view model.
Okay.
So whenever you are seeing view model, so there are multiple ways. Firstly, you will have a view model file for each module for or each screen for in MVVM. Okay, and then secondly, basically the reason for going with MVVM is making sure that every component uses single responsibility. So let's say earlier in MVC, the controller will take care of the business logic also and also updating the view. Okay, but in MVVM, view model will actually do the business logic. Okay, and then controller will basically update the view. Controller will update the view. So all if in the view MVVM code in the code base with MVVM, you will see that there is a view model file where all the business logic resides, and there will be another file called view controller where the UI handling will reside.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So okay, and to understand MVVM, it is better to start with MVC so that you know that MVVM, why MVVM was required at the first place, what challenges MVC has, and then how MVVM resolves that. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now so I'll just create a basic, let's say, hmm, I can just create a basic table view. Okay, it's loading.
Sir, I'm not visible properly. Can make it.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay, fine. So the storyboard will be of same size, but the code will be bigger. Okay,
Yes.
fine. So now you can help me with the table view implementation, and then we'll implement it today with MVC. Okay. Okay. So now, firstly, auto layouts. I'll just drag and drop. I will also give you a couple of assignments for. If you remember, I give you one assignment no, for auto
Yes,
layouts.
yes, for the dynamic view for the view, right?
Yes.
For the all the devices in iPad, it is the same. We need to complete. Yeah, I
Yes.
tried it. For 2, 3, in the iPad it is coming same. In other user is getting in the sizes.
Okay. I needed a half screen, right? Remember, if you
Yes, yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were not able to do that.
No, sir. Actually, I done, but what getting 1, 2, 3 device, I can same it is there. But other we are check the multiple devices, it's getting the not able to see in size will be different.
Okay. So let's quickly first check because and then we'll move on. Okay. So I needed let's say to label or view or anything. I'll just drag a view. Anything is fine. View. Okay, let's give it a background color so that we'll understand. And then I need another view. I can just copy paste. And then let's keep it system yellow. Okay, let's keep it system yellow. Done. Okay, now what you were doing, what was your approach? Tell me how you were doing it.
We will be used for the first view. We can give the half of the constraint for the 0 0 and the uh, and the top bear down. We can give that constraint in that given. I will give.
Yeah. So you can tell me. So now this is what we need, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll select the upper one or bottom one first.
First one we select the upper one.
Upper one. Okay, done. Then
We'll make it a constraint the 0 0 first and second.
okay.
Left and right, both out.
Okay, and then this one.
Last one we can make it in the 0 also in the top.
Okay, so
One in
okay,
the middle.
okay. First thing I'll tell you. I mentioned this in the previous session also. First, you should always add constraints for height and width.
Yes.
Okay, and then go for your x and y.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, so first let's give height and width. Height we want dynamic, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
width we want dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic. Yeah.
Okay, correct. So can we give height and width?
No, sir.
Okay, we cannot give height and width.
Yeah.
So how height and width will be managed? So okay, so let's say, so if you are saying that we cannot give height width, then let's go for xy because you have considered height and width first. Okay, now you are giving this, and for this one also we should give.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll put 0 only. Okay, add 4 constraints. Done. Now for this one, is it same?
Same only, sir.
Okay, so like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what else? This is red, no? Still, so it is not done.
Then we can go and fix on that.
No, but what is left? White is red, you think. So we have given that this stick to all 4 corners and this stick to all 4 corners. So this corner, this corner, this corner is fine. But how will it know that how much width this is, right? So because width is not set for any of the two, that is why you are getting this issue. Okay, so let's try a couple of things. So let's tell iOS that I want both of these to be equal height.
Yes, equal height and equal
height. Width is not required because anyway both of these views will stick to both ends.
Okay.
Correct? Okay, so now this is one approach. Now this is iPhone. Let's run and check. iPhone 14. iPad. It will work. See, for all the devices, it will work.
Okay. Only we give the equal height, right?
Equal height. That's all. See, it will work for everything. It will work. Okay. And then okay. So understood, no?
Yes, understood.
Okay. Now I'll give you another assignment.
Okay.
Clear constraints. What I want you to do is I want you to do this 4.
Okay.
Got it, right?
Yes, I
so
got
we'll have 4 like this. You can use any color variation you want, but I want something like this. Okay, all 4 should have occupy the whole screen. Okay, so equal with an equal height. You can see. I think that there will be equal with an equal height. See, for all devices it will work.
Yes.
It will come properly. Now you do it with 4.
Okay.
Okay, can you show this tomorrow? Maybe just a screenshot is fine.
Yeah, sure, I will do it.
Just send a screenshot in the WhatsApp group with iPhone and iPad.
Okay, sir. I
Okay,
will send it.
perfect. Now let's move on this. There are other ways also. So we will cover. Okay, so there is another one way of using multipliers. So if I
Okay.
want a particular view to take, let's say 20% of the screen, okay,
Yeah.
we can use multiplier. So all of that we'll cover. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So this is fine. Let's quit and then let's add a table. Okay, then tick, all four, no margins, drag, date, data source. So you faced any issues with table views?
No, sir.
No issues at all?
No issues.
Fine, cool. Okay, this is done. Okay, now extension, correct?
Yes, extension. Yeah.
Extension, view controller, and then here, and then let's add,
Delegate and data source.
yeah, UI table view delegate, UI table view data source, and
Data
then here,
source.
cell forward index path, and then number of rows, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let's remove these two. Okay, number of rows, let's return 5, and this one, let cell equal to, tell me, what should I write next?
Which one?
Here, let cell equal to,
We are declared the name on that for
huh,
the return type.
yeah, so what I should write now? This line of code, what should I write here in the cell for row?
One second. Let the index path we have to write the given which for the row in that. Let in
Let cell equal to, then
text in the table view
table view dot,
dot text dq
see that text what you are saying, no, that is the next thing.
next.
Yeah, so first we need to create a cell object,
Yes,
correct?
cell object dq.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then let's give cell, and then let's give index path, and then here we will we'll set a cell.
Yeah.
Text label dot text equal to, let's say, iOS, and then what next? After setting the data,
Yes.
what we should do now?
Like cell dot will be give that data in there.
I've done, no? I've done this. Cell dot text label dot text equal to iOS. I want to print iOS. Now
Yeah, return the we given the return the end cell.
return the,
Cell.
absolutely very good. Return cell. Okay. Now this is fine. I think this is good enough. Let's run. So you should also practice debugging. Okay, so whenever you are facing some issues, let's say in table views or anything, try to put breakpoints and see. Do you know using breakpoints? How do you use breakpoints?
Yes, sir. I know that breakpoints, but in the debug we will give the some OS right for the which one that purpose I didn't practice. I don't know.
Okay.
Only I know the how they will be debug breakpoint with the given.
Okay, I'll cover debugging in one session.
Okay.
Okay, so how to debug better. Okay, fine. So now this is fine. This is printing as expected. Now
Yeah.
there is one way which we did last time. We created an array here and we used that array. But
Yes,
now we will
yes.
not do that. Okay, we will create a model first. Okay,
Models.
so now I'll create a new file and everything you put it in a separate file. So
Yes, yes.
iOS, then Swift, then next, then let's say student model. Create. Okay, done. Then struct. Have we covered structures and classes?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So I'll cover more, I'll talk more on that. Okay. So now we are using structures here. What is the difference between structures and classes? Do you want to say, or shall I explain?
You can explain it.
So
I know.
okay, so classes and structures both basically are quite similar. These are the structures in which we can store the data. So we can create instances of both classes or structures, and this is basically, this provides a structure to my data. So let's say I have my student model. I will create a structure. So let's say in my backend database, I'll have a student table, right? So let's say student table has a couple of fields. So where, let's say, student id. What is the data type of student id?
A string.
Okay, very good. And then let's say where student name, what is the data type?
String.
Okay. And then where, and then let's say courses. Okay, what is the data type for courses?
Courses also we string will be.
Okay, so is there a possibility that one student can enroll to multiple courses?
No, sir.
Yes, there is a possibility. So this is a business requirement, right? So it can be yes,
Yeah.
it can be no. So let's say in usually for these professional courses, students will only enroll in one, but in colleges, students will have some 30-40 courses, no?
Yeah.
So there can be multiple courses for each student.
Yes.
So what should be the data type for courses? Tell me.
Double will become.
But with the double, you can just store numbers, no? I want to store, so per student, I don't want to store the number of courses. I want to store the name of all the names of the courses. So iOS, Android, Flutter, React Native, like that.
Yeah.
So what should be the data type?
It will be string only because the name we are recording, right?
Correct. But if it is string, then I can just store in double quotes iOS. Then how will I store iOS and Android? How will I do this? Is there a way I can store multiple strings together?
Multiple. Yes, sir. We are giving the string. We can give the multiple string on that.
How? Which string can I use multiple? Can I say like this? Courses equal to then iOS. Then how will I store Android? I'll have to give comma, but this will not work, right? Because this is a string, so it will not understand comma. So what we should use? Tell me.
We can use in the empty of the string,
We have covered what we should use. What we should use to store multiple data together. We covered
yes, sir.
arrays. We use arrays, right?
Yes, if yeah, in the bracket will be Q on the index pattern. Yes.
Yeah. So what will be the data type for courses? Tell me. It will be array of string.
Array of string.
Array of string. Understood? Got it? Why? Because there are multiple courses. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Okay, so fine. So this is done. So what happens is, for both, if it is classes or structures, I'm basically creating a structure, okay, for my data now, and then I'll create these instances and I'll use it. The key difference between classes and structures is, for classes, it supports inheritance, but structure does not support inheritance. This is a very common interview question, and I am pretty sure that it will be asked.
Yes.
Okay, so so you can mention that there are two major differences. One is my structures are value types and my classes are reference types.
Reference type.
Right, and then structures inheritance is not possible, but classes inheritance is possible. It supports. Okay, so whenever we want to, so let's say this is student model, right? Now let's say I have something like employee, and then employee can be a full-time employee and a contractual employee, right? So in that case, employee will be my main class, and then I can subclass my employee to create subclasses of my contractual employees and full-time employees.
Okay.
Okay, so I will cover classes and I will cover inheritance also, but basically these two are the major differences. And
Okay.
and value type and reference type, what do you mean by that?
Classes is a reference type and structure is a value type.
What does it mean?
Like classes have a inheritance will be support in the structure we have don't and the support the inheritance.
So that is another difference. But about
Okay.
about value type and reference type, you said right the structures is value type.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like we can copy up the structure in the value reference to the will assign the around the passing the class stuck on that.
Yeah, so the idea what you are saying is correct. So with so what happens is whenever it is something is of a reference type, okay. So whenever
Okay.
you pass that data around, you are only passing a reference. So what
Yeah.
happens is, let's say you are passing a cup of coffee to me,
Okay.
okay. If it is reference type, no, then both these coffees will be over at the same time because they are all referring to the same coffee.
Yes.
But if it is value type, so what it will do, it will create a copy of your coffee, a cup of coffee before giving it to me.
Yeah.
So we both will have our own cup of coffees.
Yes.
Got it right? So
Yeah.
basically, whenever it is passed by value, you it copies before passing. But for reference types, it just passes the reference. So you both of it is referring to the same object.
Okay.
Okay, so fine. Now, and also one thing I'll tell you, whenever in the interviews, whenever anyone asks you any question, no, always explain with a real-time example. For example,
Okay.
optionals. So whenever someone asks you what is optionals, directly start with a weather application. Okay, so
Well,
then they will understand that you have actually worked and then you are telling, not just
okay.
reading somewhere and telling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So always whenever there is a question, if it is a direct one to one question, like then you can manage. But if someone is asking you to explain something, then always explain with an example.
Okay.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
perfect. So this is fine, this is done. You understood now. So we created a
Yes.
structure and then we created three properties of whatever we need. Okay, so these two were strings and this is the array of
Then
string.
here, if we are given the student ID, it will be string or it will become. I think it int, right?
It depends. So in
It
lot of
depends. Okay.
colleges you have a before the big student
Yeah.
id, right? So it
Yeah.
sometimes it is alphanumeric.
Alpha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so in if it is alphanumeric you can put everything inside a string,
Okay.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
tell me one thing, what about phone number? If I have to store a phone number, what I should use, string, double, or integer?
Phone number.
Huh.
Yeah, I can use string only in there.
Why not double?
Double, we are only in the decimal
Or let's say int.
float will be used, right?
Int, why can't I use int?
Uh, we are not declaring the like now we are multiple in the data, right?
I didn't get you. Why not int? Why string? You are absolutely right that phone
Yeah.
numbers should be stored as string. But what I am asking is why not integers? Why
Like
string?
integer only we given the initial values, right? And that
No, no. So let's say I have to store a phone number, right? So I can use integers also, right? Phone numbers is equals to, let's say I'll say int, and then I can store this, no, student dot phone numbers equal to, then I can say this is a valid integer, no?
it is based on the range of the hold on the
So
first.
let's say this range is supported. 10 digits I can store. Then can I use integer?
No, sir, will get it is not.
Will use string only?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the reason why we use string is for phone numbers is because do you have to add or subtract anything to this? No, right? This is just
No,
a
right.
static text.
Yeah.
which you will use to display or for some other
Yeah.
purpose. So because
Yes.
there are no mathematical operations involved, it is just used for display purposes, you would use a string. Okay.
Yes.
The benefit of using string is there are chances are less that someone can go ahead and modify it.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is a possibility that you may so any if you see any application, any database, any project, phone numbers will always be stored as strings. Okay,
String. Yeah.
because phone numbers are treated as static text.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So because there are no mathematical operations on that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So this is fine. We don't need phone number, but we will see if when we'll see contacts SOS application, then you will see that one model, one student, one contact can have multiple phone numbers also. So there will be array of phone numbers, array of strings, right? So this is
Yes.
why it is very important for you to understand that why we are
Yes.
using array of string here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now we have created this. Then what we will do, we will create another file and we will say student data manager. So we can actually do that in this file only, but I don't prefer doing that. I want each functionality, each responsibility should be covered in a separate file in a separate struct.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll create another struct called student data manager, which whose responsibility is to manage the data. Okay, so data can be coming from a database, web services, or like a local SQL database, a web services, or just a local stored here only. Okay, but whatever it is the responsibility of data manager. Okay,
Yeah.
now what I want to create some instances of student model, and then whoever is calling, no, I want to return. So I will first write a function. Okay, now I want to write a function that returns a couple of students. Okay, so let's
Okay.
say there is this iOS course only, and let's say there are 3 students, for example. Okay, I want to write a function that returns me all the students of this particular course. Tell me what my function will look like.
The
Func
three function like the three
students.
student that
Yes.
we need to
Return.
return the time.
Yes. I want to return three students. So what my function will look like? Func is the keyword I have written. Now next, what is next? Tell me.
Like
So next is the function name.
function name
What?
student.
Okay, what should I write? Function name. Tell me.
Function name we give the student data manager function name.
But
Then class.
yeah, but what I can call this function? You remember, no? We called calculate simple interest,
Yes, yes.
make coffee.
So student names we can give.
But I am not just fetching student names. No, I'm fetching all of these data. No, ID. So basically, I'm not fetching student
Student
name. I'm fetching students.
yes, students.
Okay, so what I should write here? Tell me. Func, then
Func like we may give the student function student teams everything there.
so whenever you are writing a function, always use that verb. Okay, so whatever you would want this function to do, make coffee, calculate. So
Okay.
in this we will say get students
Okay.
or fetch students. So if we are ordering this function. Okay, so think like that. Okay, so the function names will always sound like you're giving it an order. So you will
Okay.
say get students. Okay, so this basically will
Get
tell you that you are going to get students of this from this function.
all the functions. Yeah,
All the students. Okay.
all the
Okay.
students.
What next? Then comes parameters.
Parameters.
What
Instead
will be
we
the
can
parameter?
have student ID in the
Okay.
parameters.
Why do you need parameter student ID? What will you do with student ID?
Yeah, we are giving the data types in that we'll in the parameter we declare the what we need on that.
Correct, but I don't need the parameter. No, I just want to fetch all the students. Correct. So parameter I will need when I want to fetch details of a particular student. Then I will fetch it based on the student ID. But here I do not need any parameters. I will just fetch all the students.
Okay.
Okay, then what is the return type? Tell me. This is very important. I'll be very happy if you can tell me the return type of this function.
Yeah, return type function same. Will the function return a string here?
String. What is the return? I'm asking what is should be the return type of this function? String you are saying?
Return for the student.
Okay, what I should write here?
The student data manager will become.
Student data manager here in the return type of this function. Student data.
No, student gets to we are return this function, right? This one get students will become return.
No, get students is the function name. No, what is the return type of this function? What should be the return type? So what are we going to return? What this function is going to return?
In the we have student names on that.
Only name?
No ID or
everything, right? Everything, yeah. Right? So basically, it will return the student model.
Student model.
Correct? So can I say student model here?
Yes.
Can I say?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I didn't say that. Yeah.
Is this correct? Or is it is wrong? I can say student model for sure, but is there going to be just one student model that my get students will return, or there can be multiple students? In
multiple student because we given the in the one movie controller we given the student model inside the we are called student ID, student name or student's course, right?
Correct. So one class can have multiple students, no? One class can have multiple students, right?
Yes, yes.
So this function should return student model, or we need to change this to something else.
Okay.
Tell me. So what should be the return type of this function? Is it going to be student model or something else? There can be multiple student model, no?
Yes.
So when there are multiple data, what do we do?
We can use the array of the
yes, correct. So we use arrays, right?
Arrays. Yeah.
So what it should be? The return type should be array of
student model.
Absolutely, very good. Array of student model, correct? Understood?
Yes, understood.
Nice. Then let's create structures. Okay, so let's say student 1 is equals to student model, and then here it will ask me all the data. So let's say Sneha student name, acha ID. So I'll say A101 and then courses array. Let's say iOS. Let's say Android. Let's say Flutter. Similarly, I'll create 3 more students, A102, A103, Vishek, Tarun, and then let's say for me it is only iOS. I don't know anything else. React Native, and let's say this will be web. Fine. Okay. Let's change the names. Okay. Now you tell me. I have created three students, correct? Yes. What I should do next? So this function returns an array of students.
Yes.
I have created 3 students.
Yeah.
What I should do now? I should return all the students.
Student.
How can I return all the students?
Return.
Okay. Then?
We can call a student model.
No, so I have created these students, no? Student 1, student 2, student 3. So now I need to return these student 1, student 2, student 3.
Yes, return student 1 and student 2, student 3 in that comes.
In an array?
In an array, yes. Multiple array, yes.
Multiple, so I'll say student 1.
And student 2, student 3.
student 3. I got it?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, 100%?
Yes, 100%. In the multiple, we can use for the calling in the array inside that.
Correct. And if it is just one item, we don't need to use array here and here.
Yeah, yes.
Correct? Okay,
Yes.
fine. Okay, so this function you understood. So I will, so you will be able to create structures. You will be able to create functions, and you will be able to create data managers which returns data. Correct?
Yeah.
Nice, fine. Now, so we are done with student model. Then we are done with student data manager, and then let's use this data manager here in the view controller. Okay, now
Yes.
in view controller, if you remember in previous sessions, we created an, when we had to update a table, we created an array.
Yes.
Array of vowels or something, right? Now I want to ask you, what will be the data type of my array? So where, okay, students, okay, and then if you remember earlier, what we did earlier was like we did this. We did this
Yes.
in the previous session. Now tell me what should be the data type. Instead of string, what I should use? What is the data type of students array?
Yeah, we can use for the string, right?
So string will only save name or phone number or ID, right? I don't want just name. I want everything. Correct? So student data manager, it does not return string.
Yes.
What does it return? Get students. What does it return? What does it return?
Return this student model in the get student.
Array of student model.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So what should be the data type of my students here?
Array of the student model here.
Absolutely correct. Very good. Okay. So array of student model. Got it?
Yes.
Nice. Perfect. Okay. So this is also done. We can use optionals also here, but for now, let's create an empty array. Okay. We'll see both ways. Okay. Now in the view did load, what I should do in the view did load? I should set the data of students.
Yes.
Correct. So students, oh sorry, students equal to. Can you tell me what I should do here? So from where I'll get my students data?
Student data will get student models in that returns in that.
Yes, but where is that function written? In the data manager?
Data manager.
Yeah, here it is written. So I'll say student
Data
manager.
Data manager.
Okay, and I'll use these brackets to create an instance of this, and then I'll say dot, and then I'll say get students.
Get students, yeah.
Okay, so when I'll call get students, all those array of student model objects will be stored in the students.
Students, yes.
Okay, and then once it is done, here what I should return instead of 5, tell me.
3 will be you.
Correct?
Yes.
But we checked in the previous sessions that we cannot hard code the value. This should be dynamic. So what if there are 4 students tomorrow? Then you'll have to come back and change it, no?
Yeah.
So I don't want this. No, I want this to be dynamic. So how can I make this dynamic?
The count will be used in the return.
Yes, absolutely. Count of
and the
count of
count out in the
whose count? Students count, right?
Yes, students.
So it is students dot count.
Students
dot count. Okay, so it will tell me the count of my students array.
Yes.
It is 3, so it will return 3. So now it is dynamic, no? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, this is fine. Now here, this is the tricky part. So first, if you remember in the previous sessions, we used index path. Yes. Correct? And then so what we did earlier was we said something like
cell dot text table dot
and then we had some array, right?
Array of index.
So we did something like this.
Yes.
I think index path. We did this, correct?
Yes.
But here students, so earlier what happened, students used to be string only, but now
Yes.
students is a student model.
Model is there.
So first what we'll do, let's first get the model. So let's say let student equal to, and then we'll say students, and then here we'll say indexPath.row.
Okay.
And then here in place of student, I'll say student dot whatever student name. Okay. So now what we did, we got that student in student object using the indexPath.row. So for the first row, my first student data will be there. For my second row, my second student data will be there. And then once I get my student, I am using my student name or ID, whatever, to display. Okay. One thing I'd like to change here, I'll go back to my main.storyboard, and here in my, I'll select my cell, and in the style I'll use subtitle.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I need to, because I have multiple data now, so I have ID, name, and courses. So I'd like to display the courses. I'd like to display everything actually. So in the student name, I'll just say, okay, so this is fine. Now I'll use cell.detail text label.text equal to, and then I'll say student.courses. Okay, now this is again tricky because student courses is an array of string.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, should I leave this? Okay, you try this in your assignment. Okay, so I'll tell you for the ID and you try for courses. Okay, so if I'll run this now, fine, coming properly, not visible, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, can I make this bigger? It should be somewhere in the window. I think this command plus. No. I can take a screenshot and then I can show you.
Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So is this fine? As expected?
Yes, name and ID.
As expected? Now
Yes.
what I want you to do in your assignment is, I want you to display something like this. Because I don't know what is A101, right? So what I want you to do is, I want you to display something like this. Now the top row will have name, colon, and then student name.
Okay.
Got it? And then name, student name, and then okay, I'll tell you how I want name Abhishek, and then inside let me think, one Sneha, 101. Okay, I want this, I want A101, and then I want Abhishek, I want this.
Okay, in the same line.
In the same
One
line.
line.
Yes.
In one line, right?
Yes. Okay. And in the bottom row, we'll have, okay, just bottom row, I want the courses. So Abhishek, what are the courses for Abhishek? Only iOS.
Yes.
Only iOS. So, very 20. Okay, so let's say Sneha. And then here all the courses, right? So courses are iOS, Android, and React Native. iOS, and then I want comma, okay, and then Android, and then Flutter. Got it?
Okay.
I want this to be displayed. Once you do this, you can send me a screenshot.
Okay.
Okay, so fine. So then you have two assignments. One is create this entire project. Okay, no need to send me the project. There might be some issues if you send code from your Mac. Okay,
Yeah.
because of security issues.
Yes.
So, tell me.
I will send all the screenshot in the.
Yeah, yeah, just take a photo and just
Like,
send me in a WhatsApp.
okay.
So what I want is, I want, firstly, you can show me the student model, you can show me the student data manager, and then you can show me the view controller implementation. Okay, and then you can show me the screenshot of that output.
Okay.
Okay, and then also share the screenshot of that auto layout for all four.
Okay.
Okay, and but what I want you to do is, don't use students. Okay, use
I will
employees.
employ. Okay.
Or even better, I'll tell you. Okay, use car. Okay, so you are creating an application for Honda company. Okay,
Oh,
so your model should be car model. Okay, car model should have car name. Okay, car uh, car
ID.
yes.
So car number.
Yeah, definitely. You will need a car ID. And then basically it won't be ID, it will be something like a Chichis number or something. But you
Yes.
can keep it as ID, that is fine.
Okay.
And then you will have car color, okay, car, and then car price. Okay. Now this is going to be complex for sure. Car color will be of type color.
Type of color. Dot. Yes.
Okay. Car price will be double.
Yes.
Because I am telling you the requirements.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then you will have to implement. These two should be string. Okay. We missed car image. We need to have car image also. Okay. Car image will be a string only, because it is going to store name of that image. Okay, so my car model will have this. Then you need to create a car data manager, which will creates uh, let's say three car objects. Okay, with above data. Okay, and then in my view controller you display. So you do one thing, you give this a try. Okay, the students arrays.
Okay.
Okay, and then, or if you want, you can directly put here also. Car image is fine, car price is fine, car color, no, this should be an array of colors, because one car can be of multiple colors, no, is available in
Yes.
multiple colors. Okay, so then this is fine. Now okay, so then you don't have to try out this one, you can directly use here. Display car name, car colors, and then I actually want something, but it might be a very complex. So maybe later we will see. If you have seen any grocery application or any kind of application, no, you will see that there are square brackets, and the square, all the colors will be displayed in square. If you see Flipkart, Flipkart iOS app images. Let's go to images. Okay, I want something a bit complex, but I think maybe you can do this later. Okay, for now, maybe you can just mention the names.
Okay.
Okay. Is it complex or it is easy?
I will try to.
But you will be able to do, no, it kind of easy
Yeah.
only, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here some you might have seen, all the colors will be visible in so there will be a square, and then it will be color, so square red, then square green,
Yes.
like that. So but we will do that later. For now you can maybe just mention the colors available. Okay, and then what we will do in later in the subsequent session and next session is, we will add a detail view controller.
Okay.
So then we will learn how we can pass the data from one screen to another screen. In the detail view controller, we will display all the other information, price, image, everything. Okay, all card details we'll mention here. Got it?
Okay.
I want you also to download a couple of car images and put it in your project.
Okay.
Okay, you will be able to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay, whenever you are downloading car images, so use larger images. So you,
Okay.
what you can do is you can go to images.google.com and then let's say Audi, for example. Okay, you will use Honda, no? So let's say Honda City. Okay, so then what you do, you go to tools. I mean, you may already know, but I'm just telling. Maybe you can go
Yeah.
to large. Okay,
Yes.
and then now you will have all the large images. Use large images.
Yeah.
Okay, it will be of better resolution.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So then you will use three cars. You can use any three cars of the same company, and you can use any company, BMW, Honda City, whatever. And then we will implement this in the next session. And then we will complete this navigation and all, passing data from one screen to another screen and all. And then we will maybe the codes application you can implement.
Okay.
Okay then. So then see you also, you have 1 day, so you have enough time to complete this assignment and you will get some time. So Thursday morning they will connect back.
Thursday morning.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay, so
Tomorrow
Monday,
is Saturday.
I know I have office. Mondays and Wednesdays I have office.
Monday and Wednesday. Okay, sir.
Okay, so then you have enough time. So you can, when, as soon as you do, you can send me those screenshots in WhatsApp.
Sure, sure. I will do it.
Okay, and if you face issues, I can help you. If you face issues, you
Okay.
can let me know.
Okay.
Okay, Snehal. Yeah, see you then on Thursday.
Okay.
And I'll wait for your screenshots.
Yeah, sure. I will send it in.
Okay, Sneha. See you. Bye.
Bye, sir.